So now we're going to jump into the next part of the podcast, and we're going to be talking about loot boxes. And it's interesting that we were talking about Street Fighter V because this week's in loot boxes is brought to you by Capcom. It's brought to you by Capcom and Street Fighter V because after being out for what, 2.5, 3 years?
Almost, yeah.
It's almost almost 3 years.
It's 2.5 because it came out holiday 2016. Right?
Okay, yeah. So 2.5 years. Yeah, right. So after 2.5 years, Street Fighter V is adding loot boxes. And like, man, throughout all the controversy, you would think that they would stay away from this practice, but it actually seems to kind of work out because of the way that the fight money works. So at first glance, you're like, oh God, loot boxes in Street Fighter. But once you get down into the nitty gritty, you kind of learn about what's going on here. So it looks like the loot boxes will be tied to some of the additional features in the game, like the survival mode and a new mode that's coming out that's going to be called, what's it called? Fighting Chance. There we go. Fighting Chance is a new mode that's coming out, and basically what it'll allow you to do is use your in-game currency fight money to either increase your likelihood of completing a survival mode challenge, or give you the chance to open up loot boxes that will give you exclusive colors and costumes that will be exclusive to the Fighting Chance mode. Some of these costumes that are included in here actually look pretty cool. The one that they've been showcasing on the internet everywhere is the Counter-Strike costume from Cammy.
For Cammy,
yeah, which has her in her like rollerblades and her freaking like elbow and like knee pads from a very, very obscure Capcom game. It's actually pretty crazy how much like love and detail has been put into Street Fighter V as far as their additional costumes, because they have like Captain Commando, they have all types of like crossover costumes, and it's actually pretty cool. And they still have a couple of characters that haven't been released yet. So they're actually doing a lot over on the Street Fighter V side. But the loot boxes are coming. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't have a problem with it. It's purely cosmetic. You can't spend real world money to get them. You have to use fight money. So it's all in-game earned. I don't have a problem with this at all.
Yeah. I agree. I'm inclined to agree with it. I mean, there's no real, like, I don't know that there's any value put into the additional costumes or anything. Right. There's no way to resell them or anything like that. So this is basically just use your fight money in different ways.
Yeah,
essentially. Yeah, because right now,
people.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and the hardcore players probably have tons and tons of fight money because they've
been playing.
They've been playing.
Yeah. So if you've been playing Street Fighter V, and I believe this is already out or will be coming out. Tomorrow it actually comes out on the 25th.
Yeah, that's right, the 25th. Yeah.
So you'll be able to use your fight money in different ways coming up really soon. I like it. I like it. Cool. I mean, it's not too intrusive, and it gives somebody like me who would never, because there are some costumes that you can pay real money for, but you won't catch me paying for it. So I'll just use that fight money, roll the dice, and maybe get me a cool costume.
Yeah,
seems legit. Yeah, we'll see if it actually breaks itself later. But we have one more story in this week in loot boxes, and we're going back to Valve. We talked about them earlier in the show, but it looks like the Netherlands has forced their hand, so they have pulled trading.
Drop the ban hammer.
Yeah, they done dropped the ban hammer. Trading in the Netherlands is now not a thing. You can't do it anymore.
Yes.
They pulled those features from CSGO and Dota 2.
Right. So we talked about this a couple of months ago. The Netherlands Gaming Authority, they did a study on 10 games and to see if they violated their gambling laws.
Yeah.
and they found four of them that violate the Dutch Betting Gaming Act, and they found 4 games that actually violated their rules, and their rules specifically state if it can't have real world market value, and having a marketplace where people can actually go offline and trade and buy and sell these items that they get out of loot boxes is in violation of that gaming act, and they said that they will be fining and threatening
jailing
to developers and publishers of these games. And they sent a couple of letters to Valve and advised them that CSGO and Dota 2 violated their rules, and Valve said, okay, we're just gonna have to cut it off.
Yeah, so they actually released a statement, and the statement was kind of weird because they were acting like they didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
So when I read it, that's the
still
impression.
Don't understand or agree.
Yeah, that was the impression I got. So they've pulled the services because the Netherlands was, straightforward, like, hey, this is gambling, take it out or face charges. So if anything, this proves that it can be done. You can force somebody's hand. Right.
So yeah, they received a threat. They received the threat to prosecute if they didn't implement a fix by the 20th. And so their fix was to shut it down. And that's their only fix at this point. And we talked about this as well when we talked about this story. I mean, the Netherlands is not a huge country, so it's not going to be it's going to be a bit of a hit to them, but it's not going to be a huge market hit for them. But this sets a precedent, right?
Yeah.
And there's going to be other countries. I think it was Belgium that also did a similar study. And so, I mean, this is what's going to happen. I tend to agree. I mean, when the loot boxes are random. They're a chance item. So you have a chance to get an item that might be worth 50 cents on the marketplace. So you might have a chance to get an item that might be worth $10,000 or $1,000 on the marketplace, or $10,000 because they sold a $10,000 CS:GO skin. It was signed by a player, but they sold that skin. So that entices people to spend money to, hey, if I spend $10, I might get the $10,000 skin to sell on the marketplace. And that, by its very definition, is gambling.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, so we'll see what happens in other regions, because the Netherlands was definitely not the only one to threaten such things to Valve. So we'll wait and see. We're definitely going to keep the conversation going on loot boxes. So if you have any loot box related stories, go ahead and send them our way. We would love to talk about it. Keep the conversation going, because it is my opinion or my thought process that if we forget about the heinousness of loot boxes is what they want. They want us to forget about it so that they can, just implement these crazy practices. And, I'm not about that. I want to keep the conversation going. That way we can always be reminded of what could happen if it goes unmanned. Because nobody wants another Battlefront 2 fiasco.
No,
that was hell in the handbasket for EA.
And this particular study and some of the other issues with with lawmakers taking up or going up against loot boxes is a direct response to what EA was doing with Battlefront.
Yeah, direct response. So as always, we have to give a huge shout out and a round of applause to EA for fucking up everybody's money, because that's exactly what they did. So take this a round of applause, EA. We are proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing, because it does nothing but better the consumer experience. So that was this week in loot boxes. Now we can go ahead and move on to our next segment, which is going to be the long form discussion.
Wait.
Yep, no, I got you. I will you. But before we get into that, we do have a question from our live audience. Maury Jin is in the house, and shouts out to Maury Jin. He showed me via his Twitter that he got the t-shirt that we sent to him. He showed it off on Twitter. It was awesome. Shouted this out as well. I really do appreciate that, my boy. So have fun wearing that t-shirt, and it's the premium t-shirt too. I really hope that you like it. But he has a question for us, so go ahead and introduce that for us, Boogie.
Okay, so Morgan actually has several questions.
Oh, several questions. All right.
He just wrote it in one sentence.
Oh, got
um,
it.
so his first question, with Smash Ultimate on the way, what I'd like to know is what Smashers was your favorite?
Okay.
Let me
Go
answer
ahead.
this first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've never played a Smash Brothers, so I don't have a favorite.
Damn. Oh, God, Boogie. Oh, that pains me to hear.
Never played Smash. I don't have a favorite.
That pains me to hear. You know what? I'm actually gonna have to say that my favorite in terms of like the character roster, the hype around the game, the hype surrounding the game, God, but okay, so here's my list, right? Smash 4 is probably the one that I like to play the most. It's the most balanced, if you can even say that. That's like gigantic air quotes around balance. But it has the most like streamlined mechanics. They took out things like tripping from Brawl. They added in additional characters that I liked, like Mega Man and Pac-Man. But they did take out characters like Solid Snake and Wolf in Smash 4. So the hype around Brawl was immense. Like I was checking the Smash boards or the website for Brawl announcements for like every minute of every day. I was checking that. It was crazy. It was back when I was in college. So yeah, I would say the hype around Brawl was probably the best, especially since there was a huge gap between Melee and Brawl. That was like 10 years or so, or something like that. I think probably even more. So I was definitely hyped around that. Melee is probably my least favorite, but I can play the original as well. So in terms of like my list, it goes Smash 4, Brawl, original, and then Melee. That's my list, right? At least until the new one comes out. Yes, that's correct. It's the least unbalanced.
Least unbalanced. Yeah. Okay, so the next part of the question is also, what character did you like to play the most, and what character do you dislike the most?
Okay. My favorite characters out of all the Smash Brothers. Well, of course, my main is Yoshi. I've always mained Yoshi since the very first game. Luigi has always been a favorite of mine. Of course, Sonic when he was introduced in Brawl, and Lucina. I love Lucina. Even though she's a weaker Marth, I just like the way she looks. So those are my four. And characters that I dislike playing, I don't like Game & Watch. I don't like Rob, the robot.
Rob the robot?
Yeah, Rob the robot's a character. I don't like him. I don't like Olimar. Olimar is weird. The guy from Pikmin. And Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff's stupid.
Jigglypuff is stupid.
Yeah, Jigglypuff's dumb.
All right.
And finally, who would I like to see in Smash Ultimate? Well, they've brought back everybody from the previous games, including characters like Solid Snake, which I never thought would happen because Konami is a sack of shit right now. But
that licensing money, it's easy money for them.
True that. But I was just under the impression that they wouldn't even let it happen. Apparently, David Hayter, the original voice actor, is going to be voicing Snake in this game. So that's that's just like even better. But if I were to talk about the person that I entered in the Smash ballot back on Smash 4 was Shantae. I don't know if she's like a genie character, and she can like transform into animals and stuff. It's a cool little platforming game from Way Forward Technologies. They've been making that series since the Game Boy Color, I believe. And she's gone to have a couple of games, and even one that came out recently that was kickstarted. Half genie, half hero, genie hero, something like that. Mm-hmm. That's the most recent one. But yeah, that was my entry for the Smash Battle. I wanted Shantae in there.
Okay, so I have a bit of a trolley pick.
Okay.
I'm gonna make you laugh. No, that's Shrek. Who I would like to see in Smash is Miyamoto.
Shigeru Miyamoto in Smash?
Yes.
I mean, that technically you could do that with the Mii character. You can like make the Miyamoto Mii or whatever.
An official Miyamoto character.
Oh Lord, why? that's
Why not?
super trolly.
Why not? Why not?
I don't know.
Why not put the face of Nintendo in one of their biggest games?
I don't know. This is weird. would he be like actual like human size, or would he be like a cartoony character?
He's a cartoony character.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's essentially the Mii character is what that would be. Mount Lover doesn't like that pick.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
I just want to beat him up because he has bad. It's just bad.
That is terrible. Oh my god! Well, he did ruin the Star Fox franchise with that damn stupid control scheme.
Yeah,
that was mean, man. you want to punch him in his face?
Give him a couple of drop kicks, slam him around.
Replace the sandbag with Miyamoto. That sounds like a plan, man. We're gonna have to get the modding community out there to take care of that. All right, so that was a little Q&A that we like to do when we get questions in the chat, because we want to include our live chat. That's why we have you guys like showcased at the bottom here to just kind of like include you guys more in the live show. If you have any questions for us, just use the hashtag in chat. That way we can see it and we'll answer it live here on the show.